I'm gonna start with the torus and I'm gonna change the values to something I like and something that my computer can handle. You can do the same. And then I'm gonna shade smooth and add a subsurf modifier. Now I'm gonna split my window and choose the shade erasers because I want to edit the shading material properties. I don't know, anything. Now I'm gonna add a new material. This is how you do it. Assuming that you don't know how this works, I'm gonna explain it step by step. So let's start with the gradient texture, and I'm gonna add a texture coordinate node to it. Control T after selecting the gradient texture. This works because of the node wrangler add-on. You have to have it enabled. You can just check it in the add sound menu and you will have it. All you have to do is click on the gradient texture or any node you want to add the texture coordinate to, and press Ctrl T. I'm gonna use the object coordinate for now, but later I'm gonna change to generated coordinate. I will tell you later why I'm gonna use generated coordinate and not object coordinate. Hold Ctrl and Shift and left click on the gradient texture to preview it. As you can see, I can rotate it on Z axis for any value I want to. As you can see, I can change it in the Y axis too if I want to. I can move it in any axis I want to. But as of right now, this is not looking like much of a donut. That's because it's perpendicular to the donut itself. It's perfectly 90 degrees when in the donut. The gradient texture is perfectly 90 degrees to the donut, and that's not what a donut looks like. So I need to fix that. So in order to fix that, what I'm gonna do is take the 90 degrees gradient and lay it perfectly flat. Since it's perfectly 90 degrees, I have to rotate it by 90 degrees. Now what I can do is add a color ramp, and you can see how I'm able to adjust the values. You can just see the black slider increasing the black value and the white slider increasing the white value. Since a donut has a white part in the middle, I'm gonna add another slider. I can just press Control click to add one, or alternatively I can click the plus symbol at the top and choose the middle one and bring it to white. Now I can adjust it and position the white part in the middle and the other black parts as the donut. You can change the interpolation mode. You can change the interpolation mode to whatever you want. I'm gonna pick the ease interpolation method so it's a little smoother than the linear one. Now I'm going to color the donut. It's very black right now. I'm gonna choose a color that is more akin to a donut. Now I'm gonna copy the hex code and paste it on the other slider key. I don't know what it's called actually, but yeah, I'm gonna copy and paste it. Now you can see it's looking okay, but it does not look anything like a donut. It just looks like a painting or something. That's because we are not passing this color information through the principal BSDF. A principal BSDF is actually like a physically based rendering. It actually takes in how it actually calculates how a light works and how realistic materials react to light. Now you can see it's a little better. It's not perfect, but it's better than before. If you zoom in, you can see that it's very plain, and no donut is plain. It has like tiny details, tiny bumps, and tiny burns and stuff like that. And the donut is not usually shiny, but sometimes it is. Sometimes a glazed donut, for example. But you can just keep it the roughness at 0.5. Now you can add a noise texture. I'm gonna use the mapping node, but I can use it because it's rotated 90 degrees, and I don't want that. I'm just gonna duplicate it. Control Shift D to duplicate with the wire connected. Now I'm gonna reset the y rotation value. Then I'm gonna connect it to the vector of the noise texture. Now I'm gonna preview it. As you can see, like literally, I can just change the scale, and the noise texture will change. And the noise texture is like super washed out, and it's like I can't even see it. I can barely see it. You can play with the other parameters if you want. The roughness is like how sharp do you want the edges of the noise to be. That's what the roughness. The detail is how detailed do you want the noise to be. That's it. What I can do is add a color ramp and just change the sliders. And I'm gonna bring the black value all the way up and see what it does. The black, if I increase the black value increases. That's how you will control a noise texture or anything. Before this, it was washed out, but right now it's super contrasty. That's what we want. In Blender, we can consider black as 0 and white as value 1. As you can see, if I go into the HSV mode in the color, there's a value bar, and 0 is black and 1 is completely white. That's how it works. You can use this as a value for roughness or transmission, anything. You can just plug it into the principal BSDF, and you can procedurally generate which parts of it is going to get affected. Now this is just color ramp, black and white value, and it's not going to do anything if we plug it into the normal of the principal BSDF. Normal is basically 90 degrees to a face. It's actually used to determine which part of the object is the top one and which is the bottom. It's used for rendering things in games to optimize it and stuff. But it actually calculates how light interacts with the surface, and that's how shading is done. You don't have to go that deep into it, but you just have to know if we control how light interacts with the normal, we can control how the object looks itself. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to convert this black and white value into a normal data using a bump node. I'm going to drop it in between the color ramp and the viewer node. If I drop it, you can see nothing happens. That's because we are connected into the normal input. We have to connect it into the height or distance input. Just watch me do it. If you connect it into the height, it just changes drastically. This is basically a normal map, but procedurally generated using a noise texture. We can then connect this bump node into the normal. As you can see, it's super strong right now. If I connect it into the principal BSDF, it's gonna look super weird. Definitely not good. I will tell you that. I'm just gonna connect the normal into the normal of the principal BSDF. Watch the details show up. It's way too strong, and I don't want that. Definitely do not want a donut to look like a rock or something. I don't know what it looks like. I'm gonna reduce it a little bit. I mean, by a lot. 0.05 looks pretty good. Yeah, this is pretty good. That's how you fake details in Blender. Now what I can do is add a mix color node, and I'm gonna plug the color ramp into the B and the color into the A. What this does is takes two color values and it just mixes them together. I'm gonna just press Ctrl J and frame them and give them a name, details. I guess that's what they are for. And I'm gonna give this burns and scorches. Yeah, scorches. Burns and scorches. That sounds like a pretty good name for that. It's literally what it is. And I'm gonna take the color input and plug it into the B. Now I can change this. As you can see, I can change this to change what the burns look like on the donut. Any kind of donut that is made at home is gonna look a little bit burned when compared to a commercial donut. And I can reduce the factor a tiny bit so it doesn't look that hard. I don't want it to look super burned. I want it to be tempting and edible. I didn't realize this before, but if you use the object coordinate, you can see there's little to no room to play with the whole texture. You have to like position it at the starting of the color ramp to actually get it in the middle, but you can't go any further down than that. It'll be hard to do that. It's basically impossible if you use the object coordinate. But if you use the generator coordinate, you can intuitively position it at the middle, so you don't have to worry about that. That's it. That's how you make a procedural genre completely procedural.